Hey, welcome to Everyday Talk 24/7. It's Valentine's Day, February 14th. Thanks so much for being here today. So today we want to talk about singleness and Valentine's Day. Because a lot of people are married, a lot of people are in relationships, a lot of people aren't. So what should we do with this day in terms of having a relationship, understanding what God wants us to be about, and even how he wants us to understand love? Because again, Valentine's Day is supposedly about finding love and rejoicing and celebrating love. And if you are not married at this time, if you're not in a quote-unquote significant other relationship, what are you supposed to do with that? Particularly as someone who wants to honor God and live in a way that brings glory to his name, honor to his name. Is this a holiday that you just are shut out of, that we look at wistfully, or does God have something different for us? Well, to get some context here, let's look at the historical situation that brought about Valentine's Day. The Roman Emperor Claudius II, not the first one, but Claudius II, although he doesn't sound much better, in the 3rd century after Christ, determined that he was going to ban people getting married. He was going to end marriage. Well, there was this one priest, Valentinius, who defied the emperor's order, and he kept on marrying people. When the emperor found out about this, Claudius II, he was outraged. And so, there's Echo back there this morning, good to have her along. He was outraged, so he ordered that Valentinius be murdered. And he was. And tradition has it, on February 14th, in the year 270 AD, Valentinius was brutally beaten, murdered, beheaded. The emperor thinking this would solve the problem. Of course it didn't. But from that has sprung the Catholic Church then canonized, made Valentinius a saint, so we have Saint Valentine's, thus Saint Valentine's Day. And it became associated with honoring marriage. In the 14th century, Geoffrey Chaucer, the guy that wrote Canterbury Tales and all that stuff, he popularized the idea of Valentine's Day by suggesting cards, flowers, gifts, those kinds of things. And so over time, it's just sort of morphed into a special time. In the last several hundred years, it's really gotten taken off. It's beyond even Christian circles or Western civilization. The Hindu nation in India are supporting Valentine's Day. And what they recommend this year is that to celebrate Valentine's Day in love, you go out and hug a cow. That's according to the Associated Press. I didn't make that up. So, that brings us to where we are. Valentine's Day, flowers, gifts, cards, romance, all these things. And all we talk about is love, not marriage, but love. In many ways, Valentine's Day is just a celebration of lust. It can be special, but it's a lot of the times it's celebrating something which is not a good relationship at all. People say they're in love, therefore Valentine's Day. And we're going to celebrate it with love. We've got to go back and understand what is marriage and what is love, if we're going to understand how to participate accurately in Valentine's Day, so we're not swept away by the culture and these ideas. This is a clear example of what it means to be transformed. Don't be conformed anymore to the pattern of this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we clearly have to renew our minds on what love is and what marriage is. And if you're a single person, this is super important. Because if you use the culture's definition, the world's definition around you of love, then you're going to feel left out. You're going to feel like everybody else is having a party, but I'm not. But if we can put God's perspective into this thing, then we have a real hope of reclaiming Valentine's Day, not only for married folks, but for folks who are not married as well. So love is something that comes from God. And it can only be defined as the sacrificial love of Jesus Christ. In John's epistle, he says, this is how we know what love is, that Jesus Christ gave his life for his friends. He sacrificed his life. Love is about sacrifice. Love is not about the fulfillment of what I want and my lusts and my desires. I love something, therefore I'm entitled to it. That's not biblical love. Biblical love, after the pattern of Christ, is about sacrifice and giving. Marriage, in the same vein, is not an invention of social construct. It's not something that happened over time. It's not something that just sort of evolved and now we have marriage. God instituted marriage right from the very beginning of the creation of the human race. And he had a purpose for that marriage, for people to honor God, to people made in his image, to occupy and control the earth for the glory of God. Marriage is a covenant that God has made with mankind. It's not just something between two people. It's a covenant between God and his people. And marriage is a part of that. So marriage is the first social unit, the first foundation, building block of culture. And God made it so right from the beginning. And of course, we have really run away from that today, where we think we can make marriage anything we want to. But if we look simply at the Bible, marriage is that foundational building block that is the foundation of culture and the entire human race. That's the way God designed it. So, marriage is not man's idea. Love is not man's idea. So if you are not married right now, you don't have to be blown away or worried or feel like left out if everyone else is doing something and you're not there yet. What you want to be focused on is trusting the Lord. You want to honor him with your mind, with your thoughts, with your pure thoughts, with not avoiding lust, longing after something just for wanting it, but really wanting to honor God and have the patience to wait for him. And this is a little bit of a teaser here, but later this week, I'm going to be co-hosting a podcast by a good friend of mine, and she specifically talks about this idea of waiting for God's faithfulness in marriage. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be audio, and I'll probably release it later in the week, maybe Friday. We'll let you know. But I'm really excited about it, and I'm really eager to get your feedback on it. So I'm looking forward to that. So if you're single, don't buy into the world's ideas of what love is supposed to be and marriage is supposed to be. It's something that God brought about to bring honor to his name. And if we trust him, then we can walk in faithfulness to him and not have to be feeling left out. Because if you're pursuing God, God will bring for you what he wants for you in his time. So you don't have to feel, I'm on the short end of the stick. Rather, you can trust God, who works everything together for the good of those who love him. Okay, that's Romans 8. God works everything together for the good of those who love him, including your singleness right now. Don't let the world make you feel left out. If you're pursuing God and have a heart for him, you're not left out. You're going to enjoy the beauty of what God has for you. People who have pursued their own idea of marriage and their own idea of love, how's that working out for them? Our marriages aren't getting better. They're getting more disastrous. So be thankful you're where you are and pursue God with a heart that says, Lord, I want what you want. I want the covenant relationship that you have got for me. And then trust him to work. And that's the thought about Valentine's Day and singleness and just some thoughts in general. Thanks so much for being here today. It's great to be with you. Lord bless you and keep you. And if you haven't turned on post notifications, turn them on. These videos will come right to you. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com, all the resources that are there. Such a pleasure be with you each day, including this Valentine's Day. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.